Hey everyone, welcome back to 6 Degrees of Associations. I'm your host, Lucas McCann. With us today, Cassandra Atchison, Vice President of Marketing at Modern Litho. Welcome, Cassandra.
Hey, hi Lucas. Thanks for having me.
Tell us a little bit more. I'll let you do the intro on yourself, as you'll do it better than I would. And we'll jump into a little bit of printing and associations.
Absolutely. Well, again, my name is Cassandra Atchison. I am actually the Vice President of Marketing with Modern Litho. Modern Litho is a national commercial and publication printer located or based in Missouri. We actually have 6 production locations in Missouri. We service local, regional, and national clients, obviously all over the United States and beyond. We have international clients as well. So our range of services is quite broad, everything from, the small digital work all the way through, high performance offset printing for publications and catalogs for major brands. We are a full service printer. We pride ourselves on being a print manufacturer. That's our specialty. We really, that's our niche. That's what we do very, very well. And we love partnering with clients like Lucas and Big Red M. So myself, I actually am, I've started with Modern Litho in 2009 as a customer service representative. I was new to the printing industry. I spent a couple of years in customer service and realized that I really loved the company, but my passion was marketing, and I kind of grew the marketing department for Modern Litho from there. So I've been doing it for 16 years now, which is awesome. So
2009 doesn't seem that long ago until you say it was 16 years ago.
yes,
Like,
yes.
okay, that's been a minute.
Yeah.
Manufacturing, I think that's a good word for it. So
Yeah.
we met through Big Red M and our exclusive printing partnership with Modern Litho, which has been great. A couple of years ago, I was new to printing, I would say, in publications. And so we said, let's go out to Jeff City. Let's take the tour of this little building where they print stuff. And I was absolutely blown away. Like, it is a full-blown, full service, hundreds of people manufacturing rolls of paper. I mean, bigger than a small house. Just talk a little bit about that facility, because I think we won't do it justice. Like, you really have to go visit one of these facilities. Like, if you ever gone to like a UPS facility or an Amazon facility by chance, like, it's very similar. There's machines and robots and people and things flying all over the place, but tell us a little bit about, that facility specifically.
Yeah. So at our headquarter facility here, we have over 96,000 square feet. But we also have a similar size production facility in Kansas City, and then one that's almost as big in St. Louis as well. So we have over 385 employees across all of our locations. We're not a small operation. And the equipment, we run Heidelberg presses. Most of them are perfectors, so that gives us a competitive advantage in the market, which is great, but also awesome high quality printing as well. So so it is a large scale operation for sure.
Yeah. So 16 years, I mean, how have things changed maybe in that facility? How have things changed in the industry? Let's talk about your career there and landscape changes, bringing us up to date.
So when I first started, I mentioned I started in customer service. My first year in customer service, I was handwriting job tickets. Handwriting. Every order that came in.
We can laugh about that now, but
I was handwriting job tickets, and it was a 3-part form. So you had your pink and your yellow and your white, and they all had different places they would go within the plant. And pretty quickly after I started in 2009, which, by the way, was in the middle of a recession, if you'll remember.
I do.
So, even in the recession, the ownership of Modern Litho continued to invest in technology, and that's really one of the hallmarks of our company, is that we are technology driven and growth oriented, and that is one of the reasons that we have weathered a recession and then also the pandemic in the ways that we did. Not that it wasn't hard, but that we did come out stronger in certain areas because of it. So I'm really proud of that. And, obviously in support of our ownership, they've always made great decisions when it comes to technology. So that was one thing that changed immediately, is we went from the handwritten type mindset to everything is driven on the computer. We're planning jobs. We're taking files digitally through our FTP. We're soft proofing. We're proofing digitally as well through our Insight platform, which is fantastic. So that was some of the initial changes I saw. And those continue to happen. Obviously, around efficiency and productivity, we're always trying to be more productive in using technology.
Yeah. I often tell people, like, when I started in associations just a couple of decades ago, which again, in the grand scheme of things, I like to think wasn't that long, but I probably was, and I'm aging myself. But we were using dot matrix printers at the end of the call center sale. Like, they were printing stuff off, we're ripping leads off. Now there's AI. It's a
Yeah.
long way in a short period. I know. So the other thing I learned by going there is, okay, Modern Litho prints for all types of industries, all types of magazines. I saw hunting and fishing magazines. I saw luxury goods and jewelry magazines, like just really, really high quality stuff across the board. But there's also a lot of associations. So what's that landscape look like for Modern Litho today?
Yeah, we print for hundreds of associations, and we do that through firms like Big Red M, where you all are working with them directly and print, we're the printer, but we also work with associations directly, just from a direct sales standpoint, where we're working with their membership person directly or their executive director, whatever. The association world is one of our niches. Niche magazines in general are thriving, niche print magazines, and that's what the association world does, right? They have a niche audience. You have value that you're delivering to your membership. Oftentimes, a print magazine is a member benefit. It is on the benefit page, and it's like, hey, this is something that is valuable that we're delivering to you as a member. So that's something where, our manufacturing process is geared towards short run publication and fulfillment, direct mail, and also then logistics and distribution.
Yeah. And I want to get into how that impacts their brand, like positively within a membership setting.
Yeah.
But I want to come back to that because I want you to expand a little bit more, because some people just think it is the newsletter or just the magazine, and you may only do one or both of those things. But talk about some of the other things that associations come to you for with regard to printing, because I know it's just not limited to that. I want to sort of broaden the scope and understanding, give maybe some people some ideas on things that you've done, and maybe even talk about a couple of like custom cool things that people have worked with you on.
Absolutely. So one of the things is, and we've seen this since the pandemic, the rise of in-person events, right? They are back. They're back in a big way. And it's because, again, there's value in the face-to-face. And so associations are doing in-person events. Again, we do all of the communication that you would expect around an event. So we would do save the date postcards. We would do the the conference registration if they want to do a mailed version of that, or just something promoting the event, where they then digitally are driven online to complete that registration, obviously, which is a great, just a great way to tie in print and digital. Use the print to get their attention, have it be kind of an in-person experience when that arrives, and the more personal it can be, the better. Print's role in what we call the attention economy. Everything is vying for your attention. It's monetized. Your attention is literally monetized. It's like it has a value assigned to it, and people are willing to pay for getting your attention, even on digital for sure. And print helps you stand out. It gives you a tactile experience. It's kind of there's a whole kind of scientific study around what's called haptics, and that is like the physical, tactile. You're engaging more than one sense. So on digital, it's mostly visual that you're engaging, but with printing, it's feel, touch, and also for those of us, print geeks, smell.
Oh, smell.
We
Okay.
love, I mean, oh man, if you talk to a printer and they talk about how a print piece actually smells, that is, you're talking to the real deal. Because some of
So just
them,
like the paper
the
itself,
paper, the ink, the
not
coating, the
not the
glue.
old like cologne or perfume pullouts that used to be in where you'd like rub them on yourself. No, that not those. Okay.
Don't get me wrong, that's a whole thing. There are inks that have smell. Obviously, there's coatings that have smell, and there's obviously the perfume thing, ads in the magazines. But
Oh,
I'm
Cassandra,
talking
you
about,
opened up a whole new can of worms for myself. Now I want all the Big Red M publications to like have their custom scent. Like when you walk into an apartment, right? They now have a custom scent.
oh yeah,
It an experience. Like
yeah.
now associations need to start thinking about what's their custom scent in their magazine, like inside the Mylar bag. Like
Uh huh.
that's brilliant.
Yes,
Okay.
a custom set, but the point is there you're engaging the senses. You're engaging
Right.
more than just the visual. You are it's the tactile feel, it's the smell. Even if the smell is just the paper and the ink, there's something about that that's like, "Oh my gosh, this is fresh custom printing and it's beautiful."
Yeah.
So,
I think that's kind of what I wanted to touch on with regard to the brand is a lot of the larger brands, I think, have like in the corporate world, which I think associations can often turn to and learn from. They're not for profit corporations, but in a way, there's things to be learned from the big Fortune 500s that have billion-dollar budgets as it relates to marketing. And one of those things is they understand the value of the experiential marketing that's non-digital, physical, look, taste, feel, not that you're licking your magazines, but the
mhm.
taste part. But there is a component of that that stays with you when you're touching something that is worth investing in.
Yes, absolutely. So, to circle back on original, so we're talking about event marketing and just the different touch points there. So, anything around event marketing, and also to the actual experience when you're at the conference. We do signage, like we do banners and floor graphics and everything that you experience from a printed standpoint when you're at the event. Obviously, we support associations with that as well. The other thing we do is obviously continuing education type pieces. So if they're doing webinars, but they're promoting it with a mailed piece and driving them to sign up online, anything like in that realm, we do a lot of that as well, and just general direct mail where they're sending packets of information to their membership to really drive that engagement. Print in and of itself is evolving. And so the more personal that you can make something, I'll get into the personalization side of things here a little bit and maybe touch on some of the data aspects. So, an example might be you have an event coming up. You have some history on a particular member of when they joined your organization, what their job title is. Maybe you know a little bit about their, I don't know, work history. Taking that and creating something personal from them. Maybe you do a personalized agenda on the actual postcard itself and say, hey, based on what we know about you, here's what we would suggest for you and what might resonate. And that person, when they receive that piece, it could just be a simple postcard, but the content on that piece will speak to that person and really I would guarantee you everyone who got a personalized agenda from an association would be like, oh my gosh, they know me. They understand me. And that's what associations do. They have this niche audience and that they are serving, and they want them to feel like we know you. We are here for you. You're our members. You're the reason we exist. So using that personalization in your print marketing to demonstrate that is really important.
I think it really stands out too, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've come to expect it in a digital sense because there's something
Sure.
that seems more obvious of, okay, they uploaded a file and digitally, right? They just merged it in. We've been doing mail merge digital documents forever. I don't see as much of that in the print, right? It's typically bulk printing.
Yeah.
And to do a customized print job, I'll just say it sounds expensive, right? Oh, well, you got to change out the plates and do it all. 'Cause I think that's still like what a lot of people think of when it comes to printing is, these older plates that, and not thinking about print has a digital component to it that now makes this more cost effective. So
Yeah, so in my world, there's digital has multiple meanings. So within Modern Litho, we have our offset print operations, but we have digital operations. So basically, if just a quick little education, digital means that we are sending the information for the actual file art files for the project digitally. So we're not making physical plates that have to hang on the press and then transfer to a blanket and then to the paper. You know, it is it's a direct to paper, direct to substrate printing from a digital file. That means that we can have those variables. We can have variable imagery. We can have variable text. You can combine those in all types of different formulas and everything, but it's actually basically from a data file. Like, so think an Excel spreadsheet, right? Or a database that, you know, I know most associations have a membership database where they keep information, and, you know, you export from there for mailing lists, but maybe you export a few extra fields so that you can customize that experience on the print piece.
Yeah. And maybe this is a teaser for, you know, this episode will come out before the ASAE annual meeting, and teaser, we're working on a project related to this where there's some very custom printing.
Yeah.
Will be very personal for some of the attendees at the annual conference. And then we're going to showcase this a little bit in our booth, like in our partnership, and we'll have somebody from Modern Litho there if anybody wants to stop by and say hello. So
Yes, yes. That's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see how that turns out.
yeah. What other myths can we bust
Yeah.
about printing? What are the other misnomers that I think as people migrated away, there was this like, save the trees, don't print. Once you print, it's old. You know, it's less expensive to do it digitally. By the way, I hate that I have to get on my phone and pinch in on the show floor app to try to find the booth that I'm looking for.
Right.
Like, please, everybody start printing your show maps again, at least, because I just want to see a nice, beautiful show map that I can find where I'm going. But what are some of the other myths that we can bust here today?
So I think that the one of the myths is that your printing, this is big because Modern Litho is case in point of this very thing right here. Your print does not have to be elaborate to be effective.
Okay.
You want me to say it one more time for people in the back?
Oh, yeah. Say it one more time.
All right.
And then
your printing doesn't have to be elaborate, aka expensive, quote unquote, to be effective. And so here's in my mind the trifecta. So here's the trifecta of what makes a good print piece. The first component is the content. You have to have value. You have to be delivering good content. You cannot build community without value to your audience, right?
Well said.
But as an association, in the association world, that is what your whole MO is anyway, right? Is that value. So you have that as an association. You have to have good design. You do. It matters. You got to be compelling and easy to digest, but beautiful, compelling design is really important. And then the third component is just good, high quality printing. So, and of course, that's where we come into that picture, but we see it day after day. I walk out on our floor and I see it. I see all these magazines going through, and they're 8.5 by 11. They're on really good paper. We print on really good paper, by the way, but we have high quality machinery. We have craftsmen that are literally putting and creating these products every day. But when you put those things together, an audience with great content, you have good design, and then you have a great printing partner, like that's all you really need. You don't have to embellish. Yeah. So that would just be my myth buster right there. Right there.
So true. I mean, there's so much emphasis on AI, and I think AI can create some good content based on what's out there.
Yes.
But you can't rely on that alone. Not that I want to go deep into like an AI conversation, but if the content is really good and you have this experience and they have something in hand that isn't competing digitally, like I see a lot of newsletters that go out that go unread, because I'm tired of scrolling.
Yeah.
I have 1,000 other things in the digital boxes and world. I'm in the digital world. We're in the digital world right now recording. Like, but when I leave the computer and I walk away and I have something physical, it's just like it's a different mindset and there's a different focus on it.
Mhm.
And all of that equates, again, going back to this brand of something that creates stickiness with the membership, like something they don't want to leave. I know that there's so many other elements of an association and value and propositions and resources. And so to put the exact stickiness factor, if that's a thing, on the actual magazine, I understand is very difficult, but I also want people to know it's very high. It's much higher than people actualize.
Yes. Yes. I would agree.
I really like the combination of like you couple this like print and digital like combination. Most people think it's like one or the other. I kind of want to go back and talk about what the power of both and when should you print and maybe when should you not print? Like what's a good, if without us getting in trouble here talking about not printing.
Oh, when not printing.
Yeah. Sorry, Jeff. Yeah.
Yeah, no worries. Hey, we've had to own that as an industry, right? You gotta know when you're licked, and there's certain applications that, are just digital is better, right? And that is for anything that needs to be tracked, right? Because you're not gonna know, that somebody picked up and how much time they spent reading a magazine. Who's sitting there, counting, okay, they picked up the magazine now. I've got them on. Okay, they read it for 5 minutes. Okay, 5 minutes engagement. No, you can't do that. You have to.
Add little cameras in the magazine and start calculating, eye contact. Like that's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, all of that has to be digital, but also, so things like event registrations, obviously, no one wants to fill out a paper form and mail it back and, track those back to the mail, pay for, the association doesn't want to pay to have that mailed back. No, it's a QR code that goes to their personalized landing page that speaks directly to them.
But if you're under the age of 40, recognize that there was a time for that. I just want that audience to know, that did happen.
It did. It was. Yeah.
I still remember that. Yeah.
Exactly. Like paper forms were sent, via mail or within magazines. You'd tear it out, you'd fold it up and send it back. Like it was a thing.
Yeah.
It really was. So that's definitely, don't do that. Don't forms in general. Like I think of forms as a category, forms should be digital.
Agreed.
For sure. But, QR codes are a great example of, how you link a physical piece to the digital, right? So QR codes have seen a resurgence, and it's because early on we had some barriers with, cameras couldn't scan every QR code, and then you had to have a certain app, and then if you didn't have that app, then you couldn't. It was really truly a barrier. But those have been removed now. So just a basic QR code can open up a lot of doors for great, content, extended content. And that's the other thing you got to think about is offer something of value that engages them and is a call to outcome, give them a reason to engage you digitally from that print piece. That's just really important. Don't just replicate whatever's on your print and your digital. That doesn't make any sense. You want extended content. You want something special there when they go there. Reward them from going there because they're giving you information about how long they were there and what forms or what fields they filled out. So give them something in return for having participated in your campaign.
Yeah. That's absolutely true. I think that the other thing that I think of is digital, whether it's, I raise my phone like digital, whether it's that or it's on the screen, like you're kind of framed into a specific shape, if you will, right? What I like is, and I've learned is there's almost infinite possibilities when it is to print. Like there is standard magazine sizes and there are some standards that are kind of like you can pick off the shelf and fit everything in that.
Yeah.
But there's also, a lot of customization that you can do. I would say almost endless, like just again, getting to know Modern Litho and like throwing things at you and your staff as ideas. They're like, oh yeah, we could do that. Like there really isn't anything you can't do. You want a mailer that looks like a star. Like, yeah, you could figure that out. Like have machines that can like cut anything and give yourself a different feel and a different look and everything else. I think that just, and then throw in the personalization of, content information, deadlines, and so forth. Like
Yeah,
it opens up a whole new world. But
it really
again, I
does.
feel like we need to create a list and attach it to this episode. Here's
Just,
40 ideas that
you
you
know,
may not have thought about as it relates to customization in your print that could make you really stand out. And you don't have to print 8,000 copies, maybe just 400 to the right audience and make a
yes.
really dramatic impact.
Right. There's two format ideas I just want to share real quick, just related to some like tactics you can use that are very simple. And again, these are not complicated. These are
Yeah.
not overly expensive, but the idea of a cover wrap is big, especially when you talk about personalization, because you still have underneath the magazine that you're sent,
Mhm.
the generic magazine, we'll call it generic, but your real magazine, but we cover it front cover, back cover. We can just tip it on the front cover. We can have it have a fold out, but that is the piece that is variable, that is totally customized to whoever you are sending that magazine to. But that's a simple add-on that, I mean, somebody is going to open that if they get lands on their desk and it's speaking directly to them, and maybe it has pictures of their hometown on it or something, and
Yeah.
or it says "Happy Birthday, Lucas" or something like that. Like, you're gonna engage with that piece. So that's a one really simple one. That's not crazy expensive. It's not
Yeah.
it's not die cut. It's not foil or emboss or anything.
I saw one even when I was going through the manufacturing facility that was printing out membership renewals for just those that their renewal was due that month,
Yes.
just for association. So you don't have to print out, separate postcards and mailers, like
No.
just overlay it on the publication that you're already sending out as a member benefit,
Mhm.
pack it in, and you only have to pay for those like who are renewing that month. So then you get it. It's like, Lucas, it's time for you to renew.
Yeah.
Like, wow. This isn't like a thing that everybody is getting.
No.
It says my name. It knows that it's time for me to renew.
Mhm.
Coupling it with a magazine that's a member benefit. So it's like, if, without saying it, you want to keep getting this great magazine with all this great content, like time to renew, and don't fill out the form. Just scan this QR code, takes you to your account, and you can renew right now.
Yep. That, and then obviously just personalized covers. So there's the cover wrap that has the existing magazine, or just printing a personalized cover with a name or a certain, maybe it's just segmented by the type of content that member would be interested in, and that's the main story on the cover, or something like that, where the cover is the variable thing. But so everybody could be getting the same inside content, but the cover looks different.
Yeah.
So.
I do like the idea of, like, so you brought up earlier, like the design and content. Like my hope is that people are creating new content. The other piece that I've encouraged our team to do is go back and talk to people about redesigns, though, because to your point,
Yeah.
like the design is also a big factor. Like you said content, and then immediately almost you said design. Like
Mhm.
both have to be really attractive. And so just as a point, like if you haven't gone back and looked at your design recently and talked about a refresh with your team, whether you're a designer, if you haven't talked about that with your team, or if you're an association leader and you haven't, poked a designer and said, hey, how about we look at a refresh? Like, I think you should do that. Like, it just sparks something new. And if you just keep sending, it's like the newsletter cover that never changes. Like, eventually I get like, okay, I get it. That's the newsletter. I'm a little bored of it. Like, not going to read it. But if you can spark something new to the reader, like you can have these engagement spikes, maybe it's once a year. I'm not saying do it every, 6 months, but on some frequency, right? You need to be thinking about that.
Yes, I agree. And I think every 3 to 5 years is probably a good run. Graphic design does have trends, and you can capitalize on those. And tools like Adobe Express and Canva can really help you. They all have templated publication templates that you can use to start from. Obviously maybe you add in your own flair into there, but I would just encourage, use those tools to your advantage and capitalize on what people are responding to, because those are the templates they're going to suggest, are the ones that are being used and the ones that are getting traction.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Well, I want to switch gears and talk a little bit about Cassandra. So I did my research before we jumped on here, and I Googled you, as others will probably do after this, and I found a really fun video how you sparked a trend in the local community
Yes.
based on some funds, some record-breaking funds that you
Yes.
give United Way. Talk to us a little bit about that before they see it online now.
Oh, no. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, it's great.
Oh boy. So Modern Litho is a great steward in our local communities where we have production facilities. We try to make sure that we are a good community partner. We are actually a pace setter company for our local United Way of Central Missouri, which I'm really proud of. It's a great organization. I personally serve on the board, the executive committee, and endless committees. But I had the honor of chairing our community campaign for a couple of years where and of course we always come up with these great themes, and me being in marketing, I kind of contributed to creating our themes for those 2 years, which the last one was Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and it so the two co-chairs always get to kind of dress up and at our community events and kind of really bring fun, but also just bring some freshness to the campaign every year. So just like we were talking about with association magazines, your fundraising, it's, bringing something fresh and fun and engaging is really important. So we were doing that through our United Way campaign, and I got to play the part of Violet Beauregard, one of the kids that goes through the chocolate factory. So so it was fun to dress up like a blueberry.
It's great.
So
we should pin the picture, but again, I know people will find it, and it's a great cause, and you've clearly sparked some interest and raised a lot of money, put the fun in fundraising, as you said, as well. And it's a fun video. So if you haven't seen it, go online, take a look. Yes,
that was very sweet. They always do a farewell video to the outgoing co-chair, and so they put that together. So it was very sweet.
Okay, so another fun question I often ask, what is something that goes on Cassandra's calendar, every year? It's not like you're penciling in, it's going in pen. It can be something fun, it's just something you look forward to every year.
The last several years, it has been an annual float trip that we take to a state park called Echo Bluff here in Missouri. But it's just a really great, they have a campsite, and there's a river that flows through that area, and we do a family float trip. My parents always go with us. It's my husband and our 2 boys, and we just float down the river. And I know that sounds probably kind of boring, but but it is actually really fun, and it is so picturesque. I mean, you're talking clear water, beautiful cliffs with caves. We have a lot of caves in Missouri, so you kind of get to get up close and personal with the caves and the bluffs. It's really neat. And of course, I have a 10 and a 7-year-old, so they've absolutely enjoyed that. So we clear our calendar for that one because it's a great experience.
How many miles are you floating?
Oh gosh, it's really only a 6 or 7 hour float, so it's a 1-day thing. So
I say only. That's a long time to float. I grew up one of my first, actually maybe my first job, other than cutting lawns in the neighborhood, was working at a canoe outfitter on a river.
Oh,
so we had a float trip that we would charter. We'd take people upriver, they'd float back down to the cabin and do all that. So I have a lot of fond memories. I've taken my kids floating a lot too. We have stuff up here in Northern Virginia now, is the Shenandoah River, the Rappahannock River. I'm not floating through the Potomac River, through DC. Nah. People say that's good now. I don't believe it. But there's other more picturesque, cleaner parts of Virginia that are great to float through.
Yes.
I'll give you one more and then we can wrap up. What is something about Cassandra that we couldn't find on your resume or on the internet? I've already found some stuff.
Well, this one, just tying into what we've been talking about, just how I feel like I have an inside track on associations because I feel like I grew up in associations. Both of my parents are association executives, and so it's always been their world. So I've always heard about events and continuing education and membership value and all that stuff, just through osmosis growing up. Well, and then day dang it, I went and I married an executive director too. So my husband is actually, he's worked in the nonprofit world for 13 years and has, helped, grow and mold several different organizations. He's currently working for a statewide association. So yeah, so I feel like I kind of have an inside track on association world. So
Yeah, I don't often flip this question around, but since we did, so my grandfather worked as an executive director at an association, MASA, the Mail Advertising Services Association.
okay.
But it was essentially the direct mail association, and so that was his role. He was the executive director there. So it's also in my family. So we share that now as well.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. It kind of gets in your blood, like.
It is. That's how you get into. So two ways. Either I found just doing this for a couple of years now, like, so either people stumble into associations by accident, which is still the majority, or you have somebody in your family that kind of introduced you to it or nudged you into it, just give it a try. And then you stay and you're stuck, and that's how it happens. And that's why we're all here. So
what I've learned is that it's kind of, associations and nonprofits are, similar. There's differences, but
yes.
Generally you're working with very passionate people, and certainly the members are always passionate. And I think that's, kind of just a really cool aspect of like, you're always, I don't know, working with people that really care about what they're doing.
Yeah. There's a lot of passion in the industry.
Yeah.
Which is great. Well, Cassandra, thank you so much for sharing more about Modern Litho, our partnerships, and things in the industry. I still think there's some things that we can tack on that'll help inspire people about, opportunities with print, and we'll do that when this goes out and posts. But is there somebody in your network you think our audience would get some value from hearing from?
Yeah, Lucas, thanks. I actually have a couple in mind, so thought I'd reach out to them, and then I'll get back with you offline.
Awesome. We look forward to hearing who this mystery people are, and hopefully they are willing to jump in and join with us. And thank you again, Cassandra. I love the conversation and look forward to the next time I get to see you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lucas. We appreciate Big Red M as well.